Hello everybody. Welcome back to Lesson 101. Today we're going to talk about geometric probability. So we're going to put two things together, some geometric principles that we know about area and probability. Okay, so think about probability, like if I asked you what's the probability that when you flip a coin you get a heads. So heads, what you want, out of total options, heads and tails, so 1 out of 2, okay? Well, geometric probability is kind of like the idea of like shooting an arrow at a target. So what is the probability that if I had a rectangular target and there's a little square in here, that if I shot an arrow, what's the probability I would hit the square? So what you do, get the area of the specific region, okay, which in this case 3 by 3 would be 9 units squared, okay? And the area of the total known region, 10 by 6, and that would be reduced, or I could do bottom into top, and I don't know that one by hand, so let's see what that probability would be. If I did 9 divided by 60, I get 0.15, or a 15% chance, right? So the probability is 0.15 or 15% that I would shoot an arrow and hit this portion, okay? So let's look at example 1, and you really might want to read through this, make sure that it makes sense to you. But example 1 says that if a 12-inch diameter target is hit, okay, so here's a radius of a diameter, 12-inch, and what's the probability that a 4-inch bullseye is hit? All right, so in terms of pi, let's just don't multiply through by pi, but what's the area of the whole big old circle in terms of pi? Okay, if the diameter is 12, the radius is 6, 6 squared would be 36 pi inches squared, right? Now, the area of the little tiny circle here, that's 4, this is 12 goes here, its radius would be 2. 2 squared is 4 pi inches squared, okay? So these cancel, all right? And so the pi's cancel, and 436 would be 1/9 probability. If you're turning it to a decimal, bottom into top, we get approximately 0.11 or 11%. All right? Okay, then let's look at example 2. This says, what is the probability that an object that lands in the circle also lands in the square? Okay, so this diameter is 20 centimeters. And this square inside here is 10 centimeters, okay? All right, so let's get the area of the square. Okay, so 10 by 10 is 100 centimeters squared. The area of the whole circle, okay, if the radius, then if the diameter is 20, the radius would be 10. So 10 squared would be 100 pi, right? Pi r squared. And so what is the probability that something will land in the square out of the probability of landing in the circle? Well, let's see. Centimeter squares cancel. 100 over 100 is 1, right? So the answer then is 1 over pi probability that what lands in the square, that lands in the circle, would also land in the square. So you can leave your answer like that. Okay, if you want to do bottom into top, you could do 1 divided by pi, 3.14, and get approximately 0.32. But I would accept that answer. Okay, all right, so let's do the practice. Just going to do A through D. A through D. so for A, the probability of the little rectangle, the area is 12 out of the big rectangle, 48. That reduces to 1/4, which we know is 25%. Okay. The probability would be that what hits the square would also hit the triangle. I get the area of the triangle. Base times height over 2 gives me 24 over the area of the square. So 10 by 10 is 100. That reduced to 6 over 25, which is 24%. All right, for C, the area of, just think about that, was a square inside a square, but it was tilted, but still was 10 by 10, so 100 over 14 by 14, and I reduced and got my percent there. And then for D, I had a radius of 6 for the little guy, so 36 pi over a radius of 10, so 100. The pi's canceled. This reduced to 9 over 25, or 36%. All right, so check with RenWeb, see what your assignment is. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope that you're getting outside every day, getting some fresh air. I hope you're breaking away from those video games and television and all the things that mess with your brain. Get outside, get your closets cleaned, wash your parents' car, do something nice for them. Play with your siblings or your friends. Give old people a call, be a nice visitor. Just have a wonderful afternoon doing something different. I love and miss you and hope you're well. Talk to you tomorrow.